The next section of this course is about CLI tools, command line interface tools. Typically, we install them globally, but again, that's not always the case. I mentioned before that sometimes it's a good idea to install a CLI locally. Here we go. NoDev tools. NoDev, we don't really worry that we might have different versions than our teammates. So NoDev, most of the times it's okay to have it globally, to have a little bit older or a little bit newer version than someone else. Why? It's mostly a development tool. You would monitor your code and NoDev would monitor and restart your node automatically when there are some file changes. Otherwise, you would have to manually restart your server every time you make a change, and it's wasting too much of your time, which is better spent on the actual writing of the code. So NoDev use this tool. NotStatic. So NotStatic will serve your files over the HTTP protocol. It's a static web server, similar to Apache HTTPD, to Nginx. Of course, this is not a real production server, so don't use it in production, but it's great for development because it's pretty fast and it's pretty easy to install. Just npm install.g node-static. And then it doesn't have too many configurations. So whatever folder you started in, that the folder would be the root of your web server. So there's no need to go and mess around with configurations. Apache HTTPD has a lot of configurations. I spend a lot of hours doing that. With NotStatic, I don't spend any time configuring it. It's just static, that's a command, static base dot to run it in the current folder, and I'm good to go. I have my files on the local host port 8080. The next tool is NotInspector. NotInspector, it's a Chrome, Google dev tools, and they would be listening. So the same interface as in the dev tools, that interface would be listening for the node process when it's run in the debug mode. So you can debug your code with NotInspector, and you would get a nice DevTools interface, graphical interface. Docker, I'm including it with this Node toolchain because it's a great pair with Node, especially Alpine. We use Alpine Docker image, which is a stripped down version of Ubuntu. We use it in production at Capital One for microservices. So Node microservices and Docker, they're great combination. What about curl? So curl, it comes built in on every Linux system and Mac OS, but for Windows, hell, you can get it too. Click on the link and you can get it for Windows. Why I like curl? Curl allows me to make HTTP requests to test my web applications. It's very low level, so I can inspect my request, especially if it's HTTPS or SSH, and I can see what is happening, what is going on with that request before writing my tests. Maybe I can just quickly do a curl, especially with OAuth. With OAuth, you have to make those requests, so it's good to also use curl as kind of verification that yes, my request is actually working. All I need to do is just provide a special encrypted signature in the header or authorization key in the token or bearer in the header of my request. So with curl, I can do all that. And it's a good verification that my application is working or my node code is giving me the right token. NVM. What NVM will do for you, it will allow you to have multiple node versions. You install them once and then you can quickly switch between them without having to install and reinstall. So NVM, Node Version Manager, that's for any serious node development. You must have it because in different projects, sooner or later, you will be using different versions of Node.js. So you would need to switch between them. NVM will allow you to do that. Wintersmith. So my blog, one of my blogs, my personal blog, it's powered by Wintersmith. Why? Because I don't really need anything fancy, and I can use Markdown, and it's built on Node.js. So it's a Node.js tool which will take my Markdown, my templates, and it will generate a lot of HTML. And then I can just deploy it on a static websites such as Amazon AWS S3, or I'm even using GitHub Pages, which is a free service. So Wintersmith, it's a great tool for static website generation. PM2. PM2, it's a production tool and it will scale vertically. What is vertical scaling? It's scaling node on a particular server, on a particular virtual machine. So PM2 will increase the number of processes. It will make your application and your system more fault tolerant and zero time reload, meaning if you need to restart something, you would have multiple other processes still handling the load. So PM2, you can use it with Docker inside of a Docker as well. There is PM2 Docker, and you also use it for development. There is PM2-dev. So instead of NoDev, you can use PM2. It's a good alternative. So PM2, your production process manager. Let's take a look how PM2 works. So PM2 start server. I'm starting my server, and also once I start my server, it goes into background, and then to bring it back, I can look at this table. So now my curl is working. That means I have the server running. So PM2ls, that's what brings this table that has all the processes. So PM2 stop all, I can finish all of them, or I can finish them individually. And every time you need a command, so PM2 help, that's the list of commands. Let's take a look at it again. So every process would have a PID. I can also give a name such as app name. And by using the name, I can terminate some processes. I can also have processes from different files, not just from one file. I can also do that, and they would be listening on different ports. So in PM2, highly recommended. It's a real production process manager.